All right, y'all. I am so excited. This is going to be so much fun. Let me pop over here so you can see me. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Adobe Live. My name is Voodoo Val, and we are going to be diving into a pretty special episode of CreaTips today. So I am here, and we are going to go over how to advertise new creative skills. If you're like me, and I know that many of you are illustrators or painters, but also if you are not working in the illustration discipline, if you are someone who is a graphic designer, UI UX designer, animator, video editor, whatever it is that you do creatively, after a while, periodically through our creative journeys, we start to decide that we would like to maybe change things up, maybe start working in a new capacity, and it can be really hard to make that transition from one kind of creative work to another, especially if we are already very well known doing something else, or if people have come to expect a particular kind of thing from us. So today I'm going to get into how to advertise on social media, that you are looking for a new kind of work, that you are ready to take on projects that might be slightly different from what you've been doing, and how all of those things needed to advertise on social media via post can also translate into video. So we're gonna kind of go across the board here and set you folks up with some pretty awesome ways to showcase to your audience, to the creative community, that you want to do something new, maybe. Real quick here, though, I would like to say hello to everybody that's in the chat. I see Annika holding it down in the chat. Thank you so much, Annika. I see Umacorn, Clever Devlin, Helmut, welcome in. I see Jack Watson. It's good to see you. Elisandra and Rob Prod Games over on YouTube. I'm reading both chats today, so wherever you are, I can see you, and it's good to have you all with me today. So real quick, let's go ahead and pop over to my work screen here. So this is my Photoshop, and I have a bunch of assets sort of compiled here today. And if you would like to follow along, or if you are maybe taking notes for a later date, if you would like to kind of go on this journey with me, this is why I have compiled all of these things. So I am an illustrator, like I said, and I'm not really very well known for doing like textures and landscape things. Typically what people think of when they think of me is probably spooky portraits. Hello, Oliver. It's good to see you. Welcome in. Love your glasses. I have the green ones on. Well, welcome in, glasses sister. It is good to see you. So yeah, I'm not really super well known for textures and things, but I'd like to be able to take creative work where I do this sort of thing. So I've compiled a bunch of textures which I have painted. I've also compiled some other items. I've also compiled some tree assets, because another thing I don't think people think of when they think Voodoo Val is like adorable trees, but I've got some trees compiled here. I have some more land segments like this little graveyard, some rocks. I also have some little items. We've got a little checklist scroll, a badge, a heart, and then we also have some little like game item prop type things. And what I'm gonna do is compile a carousel post showing that I am eager to not only take work for stuff of this nature, but I would really like to take work illustrating Dungeons and Dragons campaigns. Now this is highly specific because this is what I want, but your job today is to kind of take stock of your work and decide for yourselves, is there a kind of work that you would like to be doing that you are not getting approached for? So I am taking all of my work that I'm in love with doing, but not really approached for often, and I'm going to show the world that I can do that. So I've got all these assets in here, and then I'm going to combine these with some of the work that I am most known for, and we're going to make a post that looks a little something like this. Let me pop over here and find my my workspace, because we're going to dive actually straight into Adobe Express. And this is the beginning of our reel, but first we're going to dive into a post. Now I have a checklist up here because we're going to go over what makes a post like this important and what must it have. So the first thing on our checklist here, and I am just going to zoom in. First thing on our checklist, oops, don't want to move it, is your first post should display a clear statement or message paired with a powerful visual to grab the attention of your audience. So I want to tell everybody, I want to say, hey, this is the kind of work I want. Hey, hire me for this. You know what I mean? Because we can't just wait around for people to offer us what we're looking for. And I came to this conclusion, just a little backstory, I came to this conclusion realizing that I really wanted to do this kind of stuff, like illustrating more Dungeons and Dragons campaigns and things. And I had all the working components for it sort of in my portfolio, but I realized I don't have any call to action anywhere on my social presence or online presence that really expresses that I would like to do those kinds of projects. I just have a folder of portraits, folder of character design, a folder of some weapon design, a folder of some landscape design. But this is my call to action. This first post will be expressing to the world that I want to combine those into a specific kind of project all together. Instead of waiting around for someone to be like, oh, I bet she could do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to tell people I'm ready for it, right? And so these are the questions that you want to answer for that first post. What do you want? What are you doing? Why should people stop and look? You want this to be a very kind of a statement piece. And as Michael Fugoso said, when it comes to a case study, especially a case study or presentation of sorts on Instagram, save the best for first. Best for first. All right, because I got some D&D fans in the chat. Christian, welcome in, D&D friend. It's good to see you. Thanks for popping in. Also, Ina, hello, welcome. I'm glad you guys are liking the trees. I'm glad you guys are liking all that stuff. Thanks. Oh, I feel great. Also, Paolo, welcome in, Paolo, over on the YouTube chat. It is good to see you. And Ryan as well. Welcome in. A lot of voodoo going on in here today. Absolutely. So this is the powerful statement piece. You want to have something impactful as people are scrolling through their Instagram feeds. What is going to grab their attention? And you probably want, in this case, some pretty bold letters because you're on a mission, right? You want to make a declaration of sorts. Okay. Also, Miss Melanie, welcome in. It's good to see you in the chat. The second post, or the second thing on our checklist, is for the second post and for the content. Now, your second post, especially on Instagram, is the last chance to impress, because if somebody doesn't see your post as they're scrolling through your feed, the Instagram algorithm will send it through their feed again, but flipped to the second post on that carousel. So it's like a little second wind for your post, as it were. So that is, as the last chance to impress, you want to make that second screen also unforgettable, something powerful visually, maybe another statement or so. Those two in the very beginning have to be pretty powerful so that you can reach the most interest for the people who are taking in your statement and your mission there. And all of the content post after that should go into depth about what you're offering and show off your skills. Okay. So the important points there are: you want to make an impact, right? You want to elaborate on that statement from the first and second slides, and you want to show examples of what you're doing. So, for example, if somebody in the chat, actually, let me know what your creative disciplines are, folks, because maybe we can talk as we go along here about how this can translate to a work style that is different than illustration. But if you are a UI UX designer and you want to design people's websites, and you have that first slide that says, I can design your website, that second slide that says some, different way of getting that message across again with some powerful designs, then those next content slides should be showing it in action. So there, people are like, oh, Ryan wants to design my website, swipe, actually, it looks like Ryan can design my website, but I'm gonna need a little more information. Swipe, and then the next few slides are basically convincing them that, you know what, I'm gonna hire Ryan to design my website, that sort of thing. Gareth Williams says his creative discipline is procrastination. Isn't it for all of us? That's why I keep seeing things already on the second post. I reported it as a bug because it was annoying me. Yes, Oliver, it is. It flips to the second post and then sends it through. Creazes, welcome in. It's good to see you. What if you do everything? Then perhaps making a montage of all of your different skills, Jack, or I would say maybe you could do a carousel post for all of your different disciplines and pin them to the top of your Instagram. So if you do illustration, animation, and graphic design, have one of each pinned to the top so people can access it easily. Annika says, how many slides are too many slides? I think that technically you can make like 10 different slides on Instagram, I believe. And I would say that it really varies on the post, but you shouldn't have more slides than you need to say what you're trying to say, because I've seen posts where I got all the information I needed from the person within 3 slides, but they actually uploaded all 10 and I was just bored after a while. So you don't want to reiterate too much information, except perhaps the first and second slides, because those are so important for grabbing attention. I would say after that, any slides that you use should have a purpose. Each of those slides should have a purpose, and you shouldn't, spend more than one slide getting a point across. Otherwise, you're starting to overpopulate your carousel. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts, Annika, because you're very knowledgeable in this area, and I'd love to know what anyone else in the chat has to say. Yeah, you need to put pin post for sure. And then your final slide, closing statement. This post should offer any parting words you want to say, as well as any information people will need to engage. How can people get involved or contact you for this service? And thank you. What I see all the time is people putting just a thanks for watching screen, and it's like, that's really nice, except if I got through your carousel post and I realized, wow, I would like to hire Jack Watson for animation, but it doesn't say, like, am I supposed to DM you? Oops, I have something in my eye, sorry. Am I supposed to DM you? Am I supposed to, check out your website and send something through the contact page on your website? Give them a clear avenue to take if they are interested in hiring you for this service that you are debuting. Also, just, a note, I'm doing this in the context of debuting a new service, as I said, but perhaps you have been doing a service for a while now, but you want more people to know that you do it. You could do this to showcase something you're already doing. I do have pin posts. Excellent. You agree with me? Awesome. I feel great. I got a gold star from Annika. Nothing better than that. All right. So that is our checklist. And I don't want to, we've spent like, 10 or so minutes on this, and I want to get into designing because we have a plan. So I'm going to come in here to my pages because I've set up some pages in here, and you can see I've got some stuff where it's just literally just random collections of artwork that I've dragged and dropped in here, so we don't have to spend too much time today, but we're going to go through them and we're going to tweak each and every page according to our checklist to really make this carousel post impactful. So let's come over here to our title page. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom out. So I think that this makes a great title page. I do. And I'll tell you why. Number one, it is short, sweet, and to the point, right? It doesn't have too much going on aside from I can illustrate your next D&D campaign. I should probably double check that I've spelled campaign correctly because that's something that I would do wrong. Also, I want to make something clear. We are going to be working in Adobe Express and Adobe Express Beta today. I am currently in Adobe Express, not the beta, but we will be switching over to do some video editing shortly. So we're going to be working in both today. If you have questions about either, please let me know. Yes, I spelled campaign right. Huzzah. So we have, I can illustrate your next D&D campaign. It is boom, in your face. You can't miss it. And I supplement that with just some of my illustration here. This is like this castle that's on fire, which I painted years ago, but I think is a very impactful piece with a lot of drama that people can see, okay, she wants to illustrate my D&D stuff, and clearly she can draw. That's what I was trying to do right there. I also want to go into a lot of these elements here with my title, because you'll notice I've got like a little border, and just in case you guys didn't know this, you can come in here to shape, and I'm sure you've seen people add a bunch of shapes to it here, like the circle and square, diamond, hexagon, octagon, all of these cool things. But if you scroll down to the very bottom, you have a bunch of these which at first glance look like regular shapes, but when you click them, I want you to take notice that if you're an illustrator, these ones are for you, because they all look like they are hand drawn. They all have hand drawn elements that look like they are sketched out and stuff like that, which I think is really great. Even, you know, we have these frames, things like these frames up here that are a lot cleaner, but coming down here you get this really nice texture that I think is just really awesome for somebody who's showcasing illustration. And you can also, if you like, say mask text, because maybe I want to do this really cool textured rectangle. I can say mask, boom, and it'll make it transparent, so I can see through to my illustration. And depending on, you know, maybe we will turn this to something that is like this so we can see it a little bit better. Maybe depending on what you're showcasing, this could be something that really works for you. I personally did like the unmasked text with the shape that was just kind of like brackets, because they look like little illustrative symbols and glyphs and stuff, and I really like this. So this is going to be my page one, and if we come over here, we can check our checklist again. First post should display a clear statement or message paired with a powerful visual to grab the attention of your audience, and I do think that we sort that out here. I think we've got it. And also, Val, do you think you should add your handle in this slide? You know what, Annika? That is an excellent point. And I didn't think of that, because I would be posting it on my Instagram, but if I wanted to post this someplace else and I wanted other people to see it, this would be a great one to post. Or maybe I have different handles. I typically only use my Instagram these days for social media, but let's go ahead, let's take Annika's advice, because Annika knows what she's talking about. And let's say at Voodoo Val, which is my social media handle, and I am going to, let's kind of shrink this down. Let's also make sure that shape is not on it, and we could do something subtle, like maybe we could throw it up here. Maybe we could throw it up here. I do want this to be a little bit tinier. No, I think here is the best place, like right there, centered. And then let's change the color to match the border rather than the main text, because that main text needs to be the focal point, and the second thing you notice about everything should be the artwork, or vice versa. So that's actually really cool. A CT, you know what? Let's do my website. Let's do my website, because I do use my website. Let's say voodooval.com. I like that. I like that much better. That's gonna be the move. voodooval.com, because I definitely want people to see this and maybe decide to visit my website, even though I have the link in my bio, but that's perfect. Christian says, very interesting. Christian, I'm gonna need you to be our D&D expert, and if anybody else in the chat plays D&D, I'm gonna need you guys to chime in. As a D&D player, Christian, as a D&D fan, if you saw this on social media and it said I can illustrate your next D&D campaign like this with this artwork, would you be like, wow, that would be cool to have for my next campaign? Let me know. We'll take a little bit of expertise from you as well. How many pin posts can you have? Is it 3 max? I believe it's 3. I believe it's 3 to span the top of the post, or the top of the feed. I believe that is it, but let me know if I'm wrong about that. Voodoo Val, you can hire me. Yeah, for a website. Yeah. I just decided that you're a website designer. Are you actually a website designer? Also, Hope, welcome in. Thank you for joining us in the chat. All right. So, let me see. I think we're gonna move past this. I do like that we've added certain things. Also, Christopher Lindstrom, welcome into the YouTube chat. Thank you so much for popping in to say hello. It's always good to see you. Let's pop over here. So we made our first post, right? We made our first cover. And then we need a second post. We do need a second post. And I have a kind of an idea for how we could do this. So I have just dragged in some images here. Now because I am doing this for an illustration project, I'm going to have powerful visuals throughout this project, right? So I could do one of two things here. I could have another slide that kind of reiterates the first one here that's like, I can illustrate your D&D campaign, or I could technically go directly into my elaboration content, which we discuss here in this first slide of, you know, second post is the last chance, but all the content posts after that, aside from this last one, should go into depth about what I'm offering, elaborate on the statement, show examples. But I feel like I can make something impactful enough to get people to stop on that second post with that first element of elaboration, which is I can illustrate portraits of your D&D character. And so I need to get that across in this slide. Now I have a fantasy dwarf character here in color, and I have a fantasy elf here in black and white, which is really great for those of you who are illustrators. You probably know sometimes offering a color and black and white iteration of something is really great, because the black and white one is typically the one that is perhaps cheaper, so you can offer a different price point, which is really great. And so now I'm going to figure out, like, how am I going to really, you know, showcase this? I could do a lot of stuff. I could throw him into the corner here. I'm thinking that something like this could be really cool. We could remove the background. Let's actually see. I'm going to move this up here. Let's see how it does removing the background from one of my paintings. Let's see if it ruins the, like, you know, because I've got some loose sketches. Oh, no, that's great. That's actually perfect. This is, that's perfect. Let's go ahead and say yes. That's a yes from me. I wasn't sure how it would do around my sketchy lines. Honestly, I wasn't sure. But this is perfect. So let's go ahead. We'll remove the background. And let's make him larger here. We'll kind of have him sticking up on the side, because that's pretty darn cool. And then we'll grab my black and white painting, and let's kind of line it up here just to mask the fact that that other half isn't there. You know what I mean? So we've got him. We've got him. And then now we can add kind of a title. So this could say something along the lines of, now this might not be the final, you know, but we could say something like, character portraits. Ooh, did I just full screen that? You know what? Yeah, let's full screen. Let's say, let me make sure I'm not in caps locks. Character portraits, and then we'll do a subtitle that says NPCs and player characters, because that's something you need. Like, when you play Dungeons and Dragons, you have you and your friends are all playing characters, but then there's also NPCs, like other peripheral characters within the adventure, that the Dungeon Master, Game Master is voicing and adding into the story to really breathe life into the setting. So we can say character portraits. Let's throw it on the font that I like. Let's go to Bison. I like Bison. I'm almost wondering if we should put some italic in here, because I kind of like this italic, but I don't know if that's a little much. We can say character portraits, you know, and then underneath that, let's go ahead and let's duplicate, and we'll throw that under here, and we'll turn that to a regular non-italic, and we'll say players and player characters and NPCs. And let's go ahead and make this smaller. We might do regular demi bold actually, so that it's like a little bit bolder, you know. Create the character's image to be used in virtual table tokens, or even make it for 3D printers. Players freak out, spend litters and litters of money on it. Oh my gosh, the 3D printed stuff is, yeah. And I am a 3D modeler, but I kind of need to scrub up on my skills, you know, but that's something that I'd love to be able to offer, is like custom things. And I do actually sculpt and paint by hand as well. So maybe I could, you know, actually offer, custom tokens and things. When we need to see something about to connect the players with the heroes, the impact is very important to evolve the people. Yes, exactly. Removing the background is amazingly good. Indeed, indeed, indeed. All right, so we have like character portraits, player characters and NPCs. Another thing that we would put here is maybe kind of more text, you know. But another thing honestly that I could do is we could take this a step further and make it a little more interesting. We could replace this background, and I can go to my libraries, go into my props and illustrations, because I have this all laid out in my libraries. Let me go to view all, and I can scroll through here and find maybe one of my full body characters. A full body character would be awesome to showcase. Maybe we'll do something like that and like throw that in the background. I'm not sure. Honestly, maybe. Let's like kind of bump him down, make him a little bit smaller so that like she shows back there. And then we could do something like this, where we make him a little bit smaller here. I don't know. That could be, you know, something that works. Or maybe just bump him down, because we don't have to show all of him. But this could be something that is really interesting here as well, where I can have like the background as, you know, one of my pieces, and then we could add a paragraph of text in here, so something a little more elaborate, a little more interesting. We could even, I believe, scale and throw her like right in there, just like spooky, you know, like give her a little bit of airtime there in the center. We could put her here, honestly, and kind of make him smaller, have like a small portrait showcase right here. It really depends on how we want to go about this. We have a lot of options, but you know, trying to make this an impactful showcase of digital painting would be something that would behoove us definitely and benefit us as we kind of make our way through this journey. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave this. I'm going to leave it. I think it needs some work, but I want to get through some other things in this episode. So we'll say character portraits, player characters, and NPCs. We'll say that this is a good start to this, because they all have like similar colors, like a warm gold and like a dark gray that works well together, and that's good for me for now. But let's move on to another elaboration which I need to make. As I said, not only would I do characters, or I want to say that I will do characters, but I also want to say that I will do magical objects, items and props, things that your character, you know, carries. And so I have a lot of prop illustrations, which I have loved. I think honestly this the boatman's lantern is like my most favorite thing, my most favorite prop I have ever created, I think. So we have all manner of things here that we can start to kind of mess around with. I really love the mandrake in a bottle. Can you guys see this? It's like somebody put a mandrake creature into a bottle and put the cap on, which I really love. But I don't know if we have room for all of this. So we might do away with the mandrake for now. And we might, I don't know, could we use... I like having the necklace hanging I don't think that we need this one either. Let's go ahead and delete that. I think that this could be, you know, like kind of a big showcase over here on the side. And then like kind of hang this off here. And what this creates here is a great space, I think, for text. So let's come over and add text. I'm almost thinking that we need to change our font to something a little more magical and whimsical, which I do have a perfect font for it. So let me let's snag this color here, something a little brighter that matches with our current layout. And let's change this to props. And let's go ahead and change this to, Jupiter is too much. Let's do tan grandeur. We might need to capitalize some things. This could be cool. This could be interesting. I think that P might be a little too plain, but I feel like that actually fits into our illustration really nice. So kind of finding like a good organic place for everything to sit, and I think that S sits there with that amulet, and that looks really cool. And then we have a space right here where we can put more of an explanation. We could come in and add a little bit of detail, like maybe shadow to this. Let's go ahead and change this to, we'll sample that green color, like this dark green, and change the direction just a little bit. Something like that. Yeah, kind of make it pop out. And that gives us an opportunity to be like, okay, we're gonna do prop design. We could put a little, here, let's see, let's add subtext. Here we can say, items and artifacts. And then maybe we switch to, because I do want to have a more, like not such a fancy font underneath here. So maybe this is something that we could do like so, with just the title. Let's go ahead and change it to that. And let's change the font to Bison Bold. Yeah. Maybe that's how we will combine them. So it's like we can get the point across with a nice title in a way that is magical and kind of goes with our theme, but then we will have something that is a little more put together as far as subtitle goes. There we go. So kind of line that up with the bottom of that lowercase p, props, items and artifacts, and then I will have information here. We could even do something interesting where we line up a few more assets. So let's come over to our libraries, and we can say, let's grab like, I don't know. We'll grab our eyeball. Somebody said, who was it that said they liked the eyeball? I think, yeah, somebody said there was a cute little eyeball. Let me know. Holler at me in the chat. I'm gonna peek over here too. Is there anything Voodoo Val doesn't do? I don't do backflips. I've never done a backflip in my life, and I don't think I have the coordination to try. So, there are things on the list. Removing the background is amazingly good. I remember that from earlier. Shouldn't the font be more medieval, touch to tie in with the theme? Bison looks modern to futuristic, am I correct? I think you're right, Christian, and that was kind of what I was thinking too, with let's get something a little more mystical, magical. That was you, Oliver? Yeah, you know. And it looks like, I think Christopher in the chat as well was, or in the YouTube chat was like, that's kind of cute. So we could do like a little, you know, why not line up some little items here. Let's line up, an orange, you know, just to do a little tiny item showcase, so it can show that we have artifacts, which I think these two things are definitely artifacts. It's like magical items, but then we also have, you know, these little random things that could be considered, like I think a scroll. It would be great to have that scroll in there, just to show that it's not just magical artifacts that we can do. We can also have little random bits and bobs that can come with your campaign. I think what I'll do is I'll throw this here. We'll move that eyeball over, make it just a tiny bit smaller. We could also add the soup. I mean, if you've got a person that likes to cook in your party, you probably are not going to be going through any part of the adventure that doesn't include somebody trying to make stew over the fire at some point. So we have, like, you know, some little items down here, which is really cool. And then we can put some text right in there that just kind of showcases. I actually really like this layout. Showcases a little bit of my work there. Let's come back to our pages, okay? The character portraits, we are gonna change. We'll change that font back to let's do that real quick. Let's change that back to a different font, the grandeur font, because that did look much better. Character portraits, a little more powerful there. We'll go ahead and add that shadow behind. Let's select, I'm thinking this dark color here, boom. And then for our actual font, let's select something that's a little more, there we go. Maybe even brighter than that. And then for our characters and NPCs, we can also add that shape, not shape, shadow. Let's go ahead and do that. And let's also change the font to this guy. No, wrong shadow. Great characters. You know, I'm liking it, but I'm not loving it. You know, I'm really not. I wonder if we could remove the background on this. I don't know how this would go, removing the background for here, but let's try it. Let's see if we can do something more interesting with this page, because it's kind of making my eye twitch a little bit. So let's see. How do you do around my painting, Adobe Express? I'm impressed. I don't really need the little glowy ball above it, honestly. It wasn't absolutely necessary. Because really I would just want to show that I could paint the character. So this is great. Oh, that's so good. Okay, let's drag him over here, and then now he's like, you know, we don't have to hide that he's not finished there. We can throw that right in there. That looks good. I'm liking it a lot. I truly am. And I think, you know what we can do? Let's get in deeper to the remove background. Okay? Let's throw him up here, and let's come in, edit cutout. Okay? And I'm gonna use my brush, and I am going to carve out the shape of his hair. So that our character really looks like he's blended in with this. Oh yeah. So get clever with this remove background, right? Because now he's, you know, really in his own space. Is there more hair over there? Yeah, because I can't see through it transparently, but now it looks like these were meant to be here like that. So let's go ahead and save that. That's much better. So we have 2 character portraits, which look great. Seta, welcome into the chat. It's good to see you. We are designing, just honestly for anybody who's kind of tuning in, we are designing an Instagram carousel post that kind of announces to one's audience that they're ready to take a new kind of creative work. So we're going over our checklist here, which I will come over to our our little Insta post checklist, talking about how your first post, when you're on a mission like this, should kind of display a clear message or statement paired with a powerful visual to grab the attention of your audience. And with that, you want to, answer the questions of like, what do you as the designer want? What are you doing? And why should people stop and look and take notice of this new message that you have? And then on Instagram, your second post is a last chance to impress. So your second slide should be something that is also visually impactful, because it is something that if people didn't see your post in their feed the first time, they can slide over to your second post and that will come through their feed the next day. So it's like, you want that impact, boom, right there, to kind of draw people in again. And then all of the slides after that really should be an elaboration on your first initial statement that you made in your first post, showing examples of the work that you are now ready to take, that you want, things that you want people to see to convince them, like, yeah, I want to hire Seda for a graphic design gig, and all that good stuff. Oliver's saying eyeball soup. Yes, I am a creator of eyeball soup. That is what I want to show my community, and so on and so forth. And then a closing statement, which we've talked about, is kind of a nice slide to have, like an end cap to your post, but you should make sure it's not just a thank you, because if you're making this post because you want to show people that you're ready to take a new kind of creative project, or you're opening, you're opening commissions, opening your schedule because you're ready to take work, whichever reason it is, you want to make sure that you inform them on how to contact you for that service. Don't leave it up in the air, especially if you're posting this on social media. You want to let them know, yes, you can DM me, or this is my link to my website, contact me. If you are the kind of person that wants their phone number and their email up there. Personally, I do not, but if you're somebody that releases that information, having that contact information there is really important, to give them that call to action. All right. So I like the props page the most, so I might actually throw that props page as the first page, because after we add that copy right there, it's going to look really good. The character portraits is starting to look very interesting. I also have a slide here dedicated to some of my my environmental work and my landscapes and things. And so I definitely want to kind of jump in and work on these and add a little bit more into my post about this. But I think that as we've made our way through this post and, trying to make these things impactful and going over our checklist a lot, we can kind of get the gist of how we would be moving forward in this, right? And so one thing that I want to do, because we're coming up to, maybe a little over 10 minutes left, we have maybe 15 minutes max left of the stream. What I would really like to do is also talk about how all of the things that we've gone over just now, about how to make this carousel post, can also be translated totally into creating a reel, because that is something that you should do too. And I'm going to be posting this stuff, so I have actually pre-recorded a little intro, and we're going to take all of this information and we're going to do it in reel form, because when I release this, when you make your post to say, hey, I want to do graphic design, hey, I want to do website design, hey, I want to do animations for you and all that stuff, you probably also want to release a video introducing yourself, if that is right for your brand, or a video that showcases the work. So let's do this. Have been working in Adobe Express, but now we are going to move into the Adobe Express beta, where the only thing that I have in here is a video, which I filmed just literally on my phone just before this live stream, because I really think that that's all you need sometimes. If you are, your brand is a lot cleaner and a lot more like highly strategic and professional, maybe a video taken on your phone from your office is not perfect for you. But for me, my office is black and purple and gold. I have Star Wars figurines and creature statues and H.P. Lovecraft books and horror novels and art books and stuff scattered all over the place, and that is exactly the kind of stuff I think Dungeons and Dragons fans will think is cool, so it works for me. And this is what I've got. I'm just going to go ahead and press play here. Let's maybe zoom in just a tad and see what I have created. I'm also going to pause. Let's pause the music just for a moment here. I'm Voodoo Val, and I can illustrate your next D&D campaign. Short, sweet, to the point. Okay, here's my name. Here's my name. Here's what I can do for you. Okay. Now I need to add a little bit more context to this, just like we did for our carousel post, right? Also, Osuma, welcome in. Good to see ya. This looks really good, Val. Thanks, Annika. I'm pumped for this. This is gonna be so much fun. That sounds like an amazing office. It is pretty cool, but I will say it's not an office I've had for long. Like, I've been slowly adding to it over the years to make it a cool space, and it's finally becoming a cool space. Okay, so let's go ahead and alter this a little bit. I'm gonna say edit timeline, and I'm going to pop myself over to the other side of my canvas here so that you guys can see me a little bit better. So we've got our video, but we're gonna need to add some more scenes because we need to kind of make this into a longer video for starters, because this is only 7 seconds long, and we need to kind of noodle with the scenes and stuff to make it look like a well-rounded promotional video. So the first thing that we can do, honestly, first thing that we should do is let's go ahead, and I definitely want to zoom in a little bit so that we can take a look closely at this, but we're gonna want to, let's show layer timing. We're gonna want to add some text, some call outs and stuff for sure. So let's go ahead and add text, and we can see we got like stylized text effects that we can do, but I honestly, let me see, let's do like signs and labels is kind of a cool place where we can mess around, but really I want, oops, not that, that's not what I want. I really want to just have like a little call out under here that slides in underneath me and just says, when I say I'm Voodoo Val, you know, my name comes in, and it says, and then I say, and I can illustrate your D&D campaign. I'll have like illustrator and concept artist slide in, so it's like an introduction of me. So let's go ahead and throw that in. We'll say add your text, and I'm going to say, we'll highlight all of this if we can, and I'm going to say at Voodoo Val, because I might post this on YouTube as well. And let's change the color to Voodoo Val. That's what happens when you can't see what you're doing. Let's make this I kind of want like a rose gold color, because I've got like, or maybe like a lavender color. So let's do like that. And I want that just because if we can come into custom now and alter it, I want that because it matches my background. So like that's kind of what my curtains look like down there. So let's throw that right there. Voodoo Val. I think that we should change the font on this though, because it's kind of, ooh, that's kind of neat. Oh no, it is medieval, my lord. Suddenly we are in the Middle Ages. I like this. Okay, I might use this. I might do it. Let's do that. That is cool. Another one that could be cool is this one, but I feel like that's kind of hard to read so small, or maybe it doesn't matter that it would be so small, or if we make it larger. I feel like that's a little intrusive. No, let's go back. We could do something like this. I could change it later if I want to. Sorry, I just turned into a woman from the Middle Ages. The text matches the curtains. It's what everybody was wondering. Hey, you know, Reverb, dude, you crack me up so much. Okay. So we have, you know, Voodoo Val slides in. Let's make this a little bit brighter. Let's say, we'll actually duplicate this so I can keep that color. And when, for this one, we'll make the text, just slightly brighter. Custom. Boom. And then here we will say, Digital Illustrator, and make it small. Boom. I like that. And it'll just slide in. Boom. So I'll say, hi, I'm Voodoo Val, and I can illustrate your D&D campaign, and we will have it slide in, shall we? So let's animate it. How are we doing on time? We got about 5-6 minutes, so I'm gonna throw this on an animated thing pretty fast. As I continue to mess with this. Okay, let's go ahead and animate it. Let's animate something, you know, kind of flying in, so we can say, this is gonna come from, we'll animate in, and we'll have a drift, or a slide. Let's do a slide. And then we'll do this, on a slide as well. Let's go slide. Boom, I like it. And then what we want to do actually is, let's edit this on the timeline. And what we're going to do is we are going to animate these in at different times. So the Voodoo Val is from beginning to end. I like it. But the Digital Illustrator can happen at a different time. So let's go ahead and bring that down on the timeline so it starts at a different time. Also, we're probably going to need to trim this, but let's see. I'm Voodoo Val, and I can illustrate your next D&D campaign. Why did it flip? Did I accidentally hit flip? I did not tell it to somersault in there. I know I didn't. Yeah, slide in. That's not a slide. That was a somersault. Thank you. Okay. And I said, we're gonna bring this in right here. We're gonna trim that. Boom. You can just trim that super easy to just, yeah, there we go. I'm Voodoo Val, and I can illustrate your next D&D campaign. Boom. Awesome. Works. Works for me. We're gonna trim this as well, because we don't need everything else. I'm Voodoo Val, and I can illustrate your next D&D campaign. Awesome. Now the next thing we can do is add in another scene, which I will do real quick just in our last few minutes so that you can see how we would transition to something else. So I have another scene, and right after that what I would want to do is add a piece of media. We'll come into my stuff. And we will jump into, let's go to brands and libraries, and we will grab, I'm just going to grab just a random thing here, maybe not this one. We'll grab this. We'll grab the obelisk painting. And what I'm going to do is it will transition into a painting, which is awesome. And as it transitions into a painting away from my face, we can start to do a recorded voiceover. So real quick, in these last few moments, because I think I have, yeah, we have like 3 minutes. Okay, in these last few moments, I've thrown, you know, this image in here, and then I'll put my playhead right here, and we will have like an orange. We're gonna throw an orange in there, and we are also going to throw from my stuff. We'll throw the pot in there just to get something in there. Boom. We'll throw the pot in there as well. The pot will come in at this point in the video. I'll bump that up. We are super quick, super quick. We will animate this sliding in from the side. We will animate the pot sliding in from the other side. Let's do slide, and let's change the direction right here. So let's play that real quick. Boom, boom, there we go. We'll make this a little bit shorter here. And then we can come in to media, audio. We can grab some music and throw some music over it, but we can also record a voiceover, so I can do this. From landscapes to items, I've got everything you need. So now that's there. So I can start doing a voiceover recording over the parts of me that I don't have a video of, and we can start to create a really, really great reel, I think. So that is all the time I have, and I don't want to get cut off here, but I hope that you guys can see how I can come in here with a video. I'm Voodoo Val, and I can illustrate your next D&D campaign. And then, you know, there is, oh, I'm still in the recording area. But yeah, we can sort of kind of start to build something that is really cool. I can have the video of me, I can have images flying in, and I can start really pitching that new kind of project that I want to do. Unfortunately, we are out of time, so I do have to take off, but thank you all so much for joining me for this episode of CreaTips, and I will see you folks later on this week, on Thursday, actually. But thank you all. I'll see you guys later, another time. Happy designing. Adios, guys.